Hey, what up, what up? I know it's been a bit, more than a bit, since I've posted anything to the channel on YouTube. So what I found was I just got like overwhelmed with all the production, the planning, how to fit all the things I want to talk about into a ride, and then sometimes the weather would not be the best or the terrain wouldn't be good, and my training was also suffering. So I just took a break to figure, how do I do what I want to do, which is to share what I've learned, continue to learn. So on Monday, September 2nd, I'm going to be starting up a lifelong cyclist newsletter on the Substack platform. I'll start posting a little more about, the URL, how to find me. But I started to realize that I think writing, that'll be the best medium for me to, get the points out in a clear way that you can actually go back on. Because that was some of the conversations with peeps I was having during rides, is trying to find things I had talked about or said. And then, that goes into editing and creating chapters, and I just ain't trying to do it, man. So again, the goal is still to share. So what I've been doing these past few weeks is just writing, starting all with the, foundational teaching pieces, my philosophy of the 5 pillars of performance. And it's my belief that anything having to do with your performance or whatever's getting in the way of your performance is like a performance puzzle. And that 5 pillars of performance is what helps you to identify the barriers, identify, organize, your training, so that you can start to overcome the barriers, create your own personalized, age-specific program for yourself. And I'm not just going to post and just leave all this stuff, and I plan on interacting in there. Seems like it's got some pretty cool tools for chats and different things. We are getting towards the end of the season here in Southern California, and another big piece I'll start with, and something that's super topical right now in group training rides, even off-road stuff where people are, is just fatigue, recovery. People are wondering what's going on with their legs, with their fitness. And myself, I made a huge mistake that I want to talk about once I start the newsletter. And that was, I drove myself into some overtraining, recovering from that gravel crash April 3rd. It was just way more than I had thought, the extensive facial reconstructive surgery. On top of that, the family things that I had going on, the death of my grandfather, and all those things took a toll. I don't think I've ever on the bike had something that was just so many things impacting performance and what I was trying to do. So I had to realize that, I don't have a limitless supply of energy as a 56-year-old cyclist. Regardless that I've been riding 33 years, I found myself for the first time in a long time I was training like I used to when I was returning from layoffs, injuries, from 20 years ago. And essentially, like the saying goes, I burnt the candle at both ends, and I overtrained myself. I caught it relatively quickly, but I had to just put myself off of the bike completely to rest myself up to get where I am right now. And so those are some of the things on the newsletter that I'll talk about, what I'm talking about with other peeps, what I'm going through, the mistakes I made. I'm not perfect. And after the crash and all these things and family stuff, and I was just diving into my cycling and just trying to pour it all back in, get back to where I was. And I ignored a lot of signals, man. And shame on me, but I figure these are the things, like, you need to hear it You know, what's the saying? You need to be reminded more than you need to be told. And there was nobody reminding me, like, dude, you're 56, you're coming back from a major catastrophic crash, a lot of emotional stuff going on. And so there were a lot of outlets of energy, not to mention I was riding 5 and sometimes 6 days a week, long and hard. So I'll be sharing more about that. But so I think that the videos from here on out would be, or will be, like stuff like this. What am I doing? You know, it's a simple workout today, some acceleration work. I'm starting to draw close to my season. And so I'll speak about those things. You know, you want to end on the highest level of fitness you can have. I'm not trying to peak again, but I'm definitely not trying to finish being overtrained. So I'll have more info coming up where you can find me on Substack. And, you know, anything in the meantime, hit me up, and I'll try to do more of these while I'm riding, just to chat about what's up. All right, that's it for today. Later.